Oh, great. So she gets rid of one douchebag.
So
and then immediately
she is.
meets another.
She's vulnerable. And here comes Mr. McDouchstein just swooping right in on her, right? And feeding her, and she's buying his bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but anytime a dude says that he's separated but is still living with this woman, or
you
the
can
relationship
only contact me certain times a day.
We're in the death throes of this relationship, but I'm single.
Right.
Yeah. Don't buy the bullshit.
I wouldn't buy that from some chick feeding me that shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy that from anybody, but I'm also very naturally distrustful.
Or you can't contact me, but certain times. And I mean, come on. I mean,
okay, so she's naive. I guess I can't hold that against her too much, but still.
So her, previous to the incident on February 19th, their relationship had been unfolding for months.
Okay.
She says it was never sexual, ever, but it was very emotional. They were connected, and there was a lot of texting back and forth, talking on the phone, types of things. So
sounds like courting. He was courting her.
Yeah, modern day courting.
Okay.
But she did say they had actually dropped the big word, that they said I love you to. So this is strange on both sides. Let's just say, that. Because maybe she's like this strange clinger. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if he's angling, I'll play her game until...
Oh, I'll play your game, you
until
rogue.
I get some, or I don't know. There's just a lot invested in this for it to be, it's just weird. It's
there's a lot invested in that to be thrown around the L word.
But then to
when
drop
you've never even
that's weird.
You've never even touched peepees.
You're not been physical, because it is not the only thing in a relationship, but it's a very important part of a relationship. And what if you just don't like the way the other person does it? What if, all these things that can be the what ifs of the sexual element to a relationship, and you've never done that, but then you're saying, I love you? So that's weird. Anyway, so she told him finally that she did actually find out about Vanessa, and that it was maybe a bit more of a relationship than she thought it was. And she finally told him, because she's in Hendersonville and they're living in Saluda. It's not very far away.
No.
People talk.
And especially if Vanessa had been a realtor.
Right.
I mean, she's probably known.
Yes, well, and Vanessa Mintz was from a prominent family there in Saluda.
Yeah, wasn't her dad a doctor, I think?
Yes, okay. I believe so. So, they come there, everybody knows who they are.
Well, yeah.
What they do, kind of thing, small town. And she tells Travis that by February 20th, she gives him an ultimatum. And now I will say, guys, there is a 48 hours on this case. That is much...
You mean like the TV show 48
yes.
Hours? Okay.
48 Hours investigates on this case, and it is way better than what I'm giving you right now. And it was part of my source material for this. And it is called The Ultimatum.
Ooh.
She tells him by the 20th of February, which is a little while off when she lays it down for him, you got to tell me either you're going to be with me or you be with her. Either way, I'm moving on.
Shit or get off the pot.
Shit or get off the pot. I'm moving on either with or without you, Travis. I've never seen your penis, but I love you.
I'm a U2 fan. With or without you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, she tells him that. Lo and behold, the incident with his wife occurs on February 19th.
No way.
Yes. So obviously
But still under the wire.
Yeah.
So at least this guy can meet deadlines with ease, is what you're telling me.
He's deadline oriented.
Well, that's good. I mean,
oriented, but his means of, accomplishing those deadlines may leave much to be desired.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, 4 days after the incident, Travis is arrested. Big shocker. Shocker, I know, guys. I know this is a very well-crafted story here.
Is he too pretty for jail?
No, he's not.
Apparently
he's perfect for jail.
Okay.
Yes, he is. He's
kind
of a big duddy looking dude.
Yeah.
With a big meat head. And they kind of, I don't know. Kind of guy you might expect to see coming around. I don't know. I wouldn't buy a house from the fucking guy. I can tell you that.
I mean, the pictures I've seen, he kind of looks a little doughy.
Yes.
I mean, and to have been in law enforcement and the military, like, he's a doughboy.
Right.
And he's got the thinning hair.
Yes.
He's got a big old round, kind of dumb face.
Yeah. I know.
Like, I just want to hit it with a brick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't imagine him being smooth operator, could you?
Yeah, I can't imagine that at all.
Yeah, and he totally, like, beards out and stuff in jail, like, into this, like, full-blown, I hop trains hobo look.
A crust punk.
Yeah.
So he could go hang out in downtown Asheville and he'd fit right in, is what you're telling me.
Yes, maybe. So
Gotcha.
4 days after the incident, Travis is arrested.
He and his double chin go to jail. Gotcha.
And the cops feel like they have their guy, so now they're just basically building the case against Travis. So as it puts along, and you have his family members are saying, "Oh no, Travis could never do this," and her family members are devastated by the entire thing. Obviously, they've lost her, their mother, their sister, daughter, or whatever, in one way or the other. And so everyone's kind of devastated and picking sides. And so Travis, along the way, is actually offered a plea deal of second-degree murder.
Okay.
And which is, I always have a problem with this when you have obvious, it's pretty obvious that person did it. But when you come into...
Well, and even like premeditated this murder.
Yes, I mean, basically, ambushed his wife when he knew she was vulnerable and killed her for her own selfish reasons. But, it comes into cost. These are very costly, especially for small communities. And their case, though they felt very strong about it, was basically circumstantial. There was no smoking gun.
Gotcha.
So, I think sometimes they get worried about getting in front of the jury because you never know which way the jury's going to break on these things. So they'll offer up these, lesser pleas or whatever just to get the conviction and make sure, they at least pay somehow. Well, this genius agrees to it.
Okay.
But
probably the smart thing to do.
Yeah, he's like, okay, thinking his lawyer's probably like, yeah, you probably should take this over premeditated first-degree murder. And he agrees to it up to the point where it's brought in front of the judge to kind of wrap it up, make it official.
Okay.
And he stands up and says, no, I don't agree to the deal.
He pushes back from the table and says, no more Jell-O for me, Mom.
No, he's like, no.
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 Kind of like how I throw a tantrum and I'm like, no.
Yes.
Okay.
And to everyone's surprise, including his own counsel and the judge, everybody, journalists, everyone's surprised. And he wants the full jury trial. And just like, whatevs. I'm not sure what he's thinking at this point.
He sounds like a narcissist.
Yeah, he sounds like a real genius, too. So now, let's just take a moment. So this guy's been in emergency services, served in the Air Force, been an actual full-blown police officer, and a firefighter. I mean, he's always been around and heard stories about investigations, crimes, done it himself. He's not done a very good job of pulling off this murder that must have sounded really good in his head.
Well, he's like a dumb criminal, basically.
So I think he is just a big buffoon, like you were kind of describing the way he looks.
Yeah, he looks pretty dumb.
So he tries to get out on bail because he's a genius like that. So he's been held under a $750,000 bond. And his lawyer argues that he had these spinal surgery, so he can get out and take care of that. And he needs to accrue funds for his defense so he can have a fair trial. And they try to get the bail busted down to $300,000. The judge says no, hell no on that. And eventually he is bonded out in 2012 by family members. I'm sure putting up, all their property, that type of shit. And when the trial starts, of course it takes forever, as it often does in the court procedures. One of the witnesses, this is interesting, one of the witnesses against him, one of the state's witnesses, is his commanding officer, or his recent commanding officer in the Air Force, who said less than 24 hours after the death of his wife, he is contacting about life insurance through the military, spousal life insurance. So that's always a good sign when you're trying to collect before they're even in the ground. And so that was one of the state's witnesses. And his lovely, super sexy text buddy, Mary Beth Fisher, has turned state's witness.
Wow.
And totally just lays it all out there from her perspective about all that's happened, including, wait for it, the ultimatum.
Well, one thing
of the 20th.
I was actually just reading here is that regarding the text messages, is that, you know, you mentioned there was like $600 missing from the till in the hotel.
Right.
And the police had omitted that information when they were talking to Travis.
Yes.
But he had sent a text message to Mary Beth just soon after being notified of his wife's murder, telling her about the murder, but also mentioning missing money. And they hadn't told him about it. So
really?
He knew.
He's a genius.
Yeah, so he knew that. And so when they seized those text messages, they were able to see where he had mentioned this, though investigators purposely didn't tell him about it.
And she kept, Miss Fisher kept texting him after the death of his wife.
So he may or may not have killed his wife, and this woman is still trying to talk about a lonely hearts club.
So here's the thing, and he hasn't even pegged it. So I don't get what allegedly, yeah. There must have been something, a little Congalisa or something. I can never say that word right, but anyway, a little licky, something's happened. But yes, so she even stated that she asked him, or, you know, so, okay, you tell this guy. I mean, let's just look at this from back up for a second. You tell this guy, by the 20th, it's either me or your woman, wife, girlfriend, whatever. And she is, shot in the face and robbed and murdered on the 19th. I mean, do you even text someone and say, did you do that?
That's a weird coincidence that I'm not willing to just be like, wow, what strange happenstance.
It could happen. And now if let's say that did happen, because, I mean, that could happen any day. But that is a very wild.
Well, all I'm thinking is this dude might shoot me in the face.
Right.
And I ain't about to be no Mary Jo Buttafuoco.
Now, if the cops are hot on the trail of some maniac, drug-addled, you know, person who did do it, and they're like, oh, yeah, we got this guy, then that's one thing to keep on talking to this guy. But when they basically, within, it seems, hours of the, you know, investigating the scene, are already on Travis like, yeah, we think he did it. You know, and 4 days later, he's arrested. At what point are you like, I'm going to back off here?
So she was still talking to him even when he's arrested?
Yes.
Gosh.
Yes, she did. And I'm not...
I hate to speak ill of other women, because I believe in empowering my sisters. But if I was I would empower her by smacking the shit out of her and being like, what the fuck are you thinking?
Someone should.
This is just stupid. Why are you so stupid?
Why is she so stupid? And she's not like a troglodyte. It's not like she looks like she crawled out of a cave. She's okay looking.
That's just some like,
but none of that means anything.
Low self-esteem bullshit right there.
I think so.
Wow. Okay. So then what happened?
Okay. So yeah, at the trial, you have his commanding officers in the military say, oh yeah, he's, you know, trying to collect insurance before, you know, 24 hours after her death. You have Miss Mary Fisher, the confident one, talking all about the text and what he said and how she gave him this ultimatum of the 20th, and the crime and murder happened on the 19th. So it's not looking good.
Right.
Maybe that second degree murder plea's looking better and better for Mr. Genius, Travis McGraw. And eventually he is found guilty, and he is. But as soon as that happens, he's found guilty and given the most severe penalty that can be given for that charge there in that county. Vanessa's father, Carl Mintz, in civil superior court, sues him for pain and suffering, funeral costs, and Vanessa's expected